And this is Old Man PHP. I create PHP video tutorials for the old guys who want to learn a new skill and compete with the young crowd. This is video 86. Wow, 86. Hey, before we go on, I wanted to mention the limit clause that I used on the last video, which I kind of forgot to mention. Or maybe I just didn't put more into the explanation. What that does is that limit clause, let me see, where the heck is it? I'm going to show you some of this stuff in a bit. Right here, see the limit clause? Right here. That's the limit clause for in SQL. So it is used to control the number of rows returned, like from a query string. Remember the query string where you do I have it to me? Let's see. Let's go. No, that's not it. Let's get that out the way. Where is it? Oh, here it goes. The query. No, not that one. Sorry, bear with me. Okay, here it goes. Man, the query strings right here. Look. On the last video, I talked about make test that query string, and what it does is it uses, if you do this, it reads back. You notice how it changed this. It sends back the number because that's what you want to, and then you get the number 2. But what we're gonna do, remember I said I was gonna do on this video, talk about AJAX. Now for the query string, right, because the limits, I'm going to be using it also in this AJAX part of the, because what I did was I took this one and I mean it's a separate one. What I did was I copied everything from here, named it differently, and I'm going to turn it into AJAX. And AJAX is what allows you to I'll show you in a second. So by using the limit, right, it's useful when you're working with large data sets, and I wanted to limit using whatever pages. And right now we're using 7 pages, so this will always change 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this will always be row 4. Because why? Because I forgot. Here it goes. Because I made it into a 4. And it does the same thing as the last time. It opens up the product database table, reads it, and gives me a count. And I also put this count into an array, which I'm not going to use. I just put it there just in case I might needed it, right? But I'm not. And then what happens is with this count, right, you're going to divide that by the row. So if you're doing 2 and you count that by row, it would be 8, right? Probably be like 8 point something. The ceiling would just give you the upper. Matter of fact, this is right here. The ceiling function row rounds up the number to the nearest integer. That's it. That's all it is. It rounds it up, and that's what we're going to be doing with this stuff here. So it's a good idea to always have limit. Now, if you didn't have limit, you would have gotten the whole thing straight down 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down to 28. But the reason why you do that's because you want pages, and normally on the last one, the way you get the query string, it calls itself. It can go to separate pages if you wanted it, but it calls itself, which is a good idea anyway, because it is, and it prints it out, and it gives you the next data sets, meaning the next group. So if you hit 3, it gives you the next one. I mean 2, like if it would be 5, 6, 7, 8, and the rest you've seen the thing. But that's what I'm going to show you in a second by using this one, which would be the AJAX one. And it's a great idea to learn this stuff. Now, the AJAX, right? I was going to put something on the last one with the query string. I was going to put a little button that would duplicate whatever it is that you were doing using AJAX. And I figured I'd keep it I'll just keep it as a query string, and then on this one, that's what I'm going to be using the AJAX. Okay, and I wanted to demonstrate that you can use the AJAX. You can use the other one too if you wanted to, and put it into your what is that other one? This one, the template. You know, you can put it anywhere you want. Put it here. You know, just add it as part of it, or just keep it as a separate thing. So when the time comes that you're going to create your own website, use the template, you can also use that other one as the template too, which happens to be this one or this one with the query string. This one we're not going to use query string. It will not change. This will not change. It stays the same. And what happens is that little piece, this little piece here, is what changes, because it's going to call another file. Where is it? Let's see. I wonder if I opened it. Yes, I did. It's going to call this guy. Remember how we did pagination, and this one is the one that gives you a connection. Remember, we're not going to show you that because I've done that before. But then it's going to call the pagination just like I did with the other one. And then you're going to notice something sweet here. You're going to say, wow, you got something. Well, we're going to get that. We're going to get back to that in a second. So, excuse me. Now, AJAX, let's see, it stands for Asynchronous, JavaScript, and XML. So it'll be something like, let's see, this. AJAX, see? A for Asynchronous, and J for JavaScript, and XML. People do use AJAX just to pull out stuff from XML, but I like to prefer to use JSON. Or you can use the AJAX to run something so you can get this to work. Okay? Or it could be anything you want. AJAX can help you do it. Let me erase this. Okay? Let's make sure. Sorry. Came from the doctor today. It was some good positive stuff, so I'm kind of happy. There were some few things that were like, ooh. But hey, for the most part, I'm happy. I'm still doing the radiation and stuff. But you know, I'm a happy guy. It is what it is, right? Anyway, and I love PHP. This is why I'm showing you. So my friends still hate it on me. And I'm saying to them, why don't you just look at my videos? What's the point of me doing the videos? I'll at least comment. Don't say I got no time to comment because a lot of times people don't comment back. I'm saying, yeah, but listen, you can just call me direct and I'll just give you the answer, which I normally do. I mean, it's people that work in some other places that they have their own programmers. They're doing PHP. I know there's one guy, he just kind of started and he's like afraid. He said, oh, can you help me out? So I kind of became like a ghost writer. It's weird. So I help him out and stuff. It does throw him some few things for me, you know. I do it for nothing because, you know, it's the way it is. The more you give, the more you get. That's how I always say. So what happens is you can read data, right, from the web server, and the pages like here will be loaded, or you can update stuff. I mean, you can do a lot of things with AJAX. AJAX is good. I do like it. This stuff runs on the background. You know what I mean? Basically, it does. Right now, we're just doing it because it's a straight tip. But let's say you hit a button, and then now you can continue doing some stuff, and it's running something in the background. Get the results later. That's what AJAX does. It kind of really helps you out. It's really good. It really is. And I always used it in the beginning. I was so you know, I was like, oh my god, it's just another thing, because it was JavaScript. See, before I started to learn all these other languages, I was active server pages from Microsoft, and I stopped using the classic one because they changed it to a more newer version. I just kind of gave up on that. So I'm saying I'm going to learn some JavaScript, and I started to learn JavaScript. I'm like, oh my god, from Douglas Crawford, right? So I'm like, oh my god, this is great. So he does this book, like the best part of JavaScript. So I started to read that, and then I started to get into the books, played around with it. And the best way to learn stuff is just by doing. Just play with it and learn, you know, break it, see what's going on. So what happens if I take this out? What happens if I don't? You know, that kind of stuff. And you will learn. and I learned JavaScript. At first it was really buggy. It was kind of weird because you had to do certain things. But then I really started to like it, but then it became tedious. And it's like I said, I always liked it to work with the database too. I like to get that information. With JavaScript, everything runs on the browser side. You could do a lot of different things. You can put things out. But as long as you use AJAX to pull that information, you can use it, right? But you still need a programming, something that will read this information from a database, and that's what PHP came about. And I love PHP. I started getting into it, and now it's one of my favorite things, man. It really is a favorite language. I love that language. I wanted to learn Python because I want to get into AI, and I probably will do that in a few. But right now, I just want to get these videos, and I want to do a set of OOP, object-oriented programming in PHP, which because the way we're doing things right here, the way I'm doing things, where is it? Where is it? Yeah, this stuff I'm doing this, and then I'm adding it in, embedding it into the HTML stuff in here. So and this is I like doing it this way too, but object-oriented is good for certain things. It really is. It's really good for something things. So like again, AJAX. Okay, let's put this over here. AJAX is not a programming language at all. Okay, it's just a way of putting things together using these objects and stuff that you can. Once you combine them, then you can do things with it because it's a built-in thing. You know, like the browser is an engine. It's before. It's like in the old days. This browsers, all these browsers, this is an engine. There's stuff running in the inside to get this thing to work. And AJAX is one of the objects that they uses. They uses this thing called XML. I guess I can show you right now since we're gonna get to it anyway. This is the HTML, by the way, HTML. Remember how we did the require? I said that on the last video. You could have done include, but when you use include, you can't get errors and it won't show. But if you do the require, it does the same thing. But if you get an error, it will show or stop your programming. It stops it. And then of course you got your type. Remember that HTML5, and of course HTML, blah blah blah. The header, the title, the meta. I explained that already. And then you got your CSS, right? So it can look good like this. Make this look like this. You know what I mean? I even added this stuff in the back. It's just little things that I'm providing to help you out. And of course, remember this is built dynamically. That's what this is right here, using PHP embedded. Then of course you got this one, another menu, but this is hard coded in, which is cool, you know. And then you keep going, and then this is the way it works. So what happens is, see this pagination title? That's what this is. It's H1, I made it big. So if it's an H2, it'll be a little smaller. It goes all the way to H6. When you do H6, it's really small. Then of course I got the little line, which is, you know, this little thing here. That's what that is. Then of course you got your text right here. The text is within divs. Remember, everything is a box. This div is within this div. Everything is within this div. Okay. Then you open up another div and you're going to call it pagination. That's the class, and the reason why it has a class because it's going to use this right here. See, pagination. Class means you're going to use CSS. Those are the classes. The ones that have like this right here. This is the ID. You could say /ID, you know, like ID equals, you probably will see it here. Let me see. Where is it? Maybe it's not here. Right here, see? ID equals. That means it's very important when if I would have had like class, like this class, the browser will read this and it will do this one first because this one is more important than the class. Let's see if I can. Okay, good. So now this part, remember you already saw this part because I did it in when I was showing you here using the query string. You saw how it was weird. But right now what I'm doing is I'm using PHP, the actual function, the method, right? And what I did was I added it within the A. See, remember A? On the other one, when I show, maybe I should open it up so I can compare. Let's see if we can open it up. What was it called? What did I call it? Oh, right here. Let's see, buddy. All right, see, look, this is the same thing as the other one, right? And this is the same thing as you can see. And look, see how it uses A and the href, and you got this. This is telling you there's going to be a query string equal to 1. That's what gives you, where is it? That's what gives you these numbers, right? You got your 1, and then you got your previous. That will be the previous one right here. They all have it. And as you can, let me bring this up a bit. Matter of fact, can I bring this up a little bit so you can see? See at the bottom, right there where it says slash make time test.php, and you got a question mark and page equal to 1. This is what this is. This is what this is, as you can see. Did it again for all these other ones, because now in this particular case I'm checking to see if it's there, right? Previous, and you're taking away 1, because if you're number 2 and you took away 1, it's going to point to number 1. That's why you see the previous. Let's go to 4. So you got 13, so if you go previous, you got 9. You see the 9 right there? 9. If you do it again, it kind of jumps all the way down. Just like that. So if we go back to the one with the AJAX, it'll probably do the same thing. See, this one gives you the query strings. As you can see, it's going to read this particular all this file all over again. That's why you see the jump, right? Unless if you didn't have any of this stuff, you could notice the jump. Let me see if I go like this, right? And you go, oh, let me see, 4. See how he jumped? You can see a little click. If this would have been longer, let me see it like this. Boom, there you go. See how that jumped? That's what that is. So, but if I went over here, it won't jump, and I'm going to show you that in a second. So anyway, in this particular case, remember the ones for here? 1 through 5. It calculated and knew that it was going to be 7 lines. 7 pages of 4s. And that's what this is. See how it is? And as you can see all the way down, there's no AJAX. There's nothing there. So I'm going to get rid of this, right? Let's get back to the actual, this is the actual page right here. So it's the same thing. It reads the same thing here. It says now you're going to notice something different. See where it says A, href. I say, well, JavaScript, please, when somebody hits that, don't go nowhere. Because usually if I didn't have this here and I'm trying to get this thing, and I hit the first, it'll do something. Then, you know what I mean? It'll do something, or won't do nothing if I took it out. So by doing this, you're telling JavaScript, don't do anything with it. Just do what the unclick tells you. If you got an unclick, that means when you click, please run this function. Please run that function. Within that function, I want you to write down number 1. There's 2. I'm providing 2 arguments. One will say 1 and the other will say 0. The ones that have the zeros on them, it's not going to do anything. But I just did that because I wanted to, I'm going to show you right now. Here's AJAX right here. You see the other one says 1 and 0, right? And the other one will say 0 and 88, 0, 55. Like for instance, right here, 0, 88, 0, where's the other one? I thought I had a 65. Wait a minute, this is weird. Oh yeah, okay. 088 and 099, not 55, I'm sorry. And what happens is it'll look at that 1 and 2 and that match. It goes, that first part of it goes to this one. This will become a variable. That second one, this will become a variable. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to send it to another file, which happens to be this guy right here. I want to send it to this guy so it'll run all this stuff for me using that information that I provided from here. Okay? That's why I avoided this stuff, so I'm not going to use that. Now it's just using this. And in this particular case, remember before I did the, what can I show you this? Well, it's not here right now. Well, right here. Matter of fact, let me show you. If I came here and you see count, right here, count, it'll be this right here. Right here, count, see? It takes this count because it can be read by any file. Why? Because on the actual file itself, I added this line. See, and if you add this line, that means it will take this little space here, and it will provide you with this information that will go in here. You don't see it because it's PHP, but it goes right in here. And once it's in here, you can use any variable that's on that file anywhere in this particular file right here. Anyway, so you go like this, you read that first one, it says number 1, right? Number 1, and in the other one, it just shows you this goes into number 1, and the other one goes to 0. Then if you go, let's go to here. This one will say 0, 1, 2, 3, like that. And let me see if I can kind of show you what it would look like. I'm just going to show you this real quick. See? Oh man, why is it? Oh boy. Okay, see how I can pick whatever I want. I click on this and then I go like this. Yeah, here's the pagination, right? See where it says number 1? Number 1. See? First, number 1. Then you got previous 0, 99, because when you do previous and next, I'm not providing it on a excuse me, a value. I just want to do an if statement on these guys. 99 and what's the other one? 88. I'll show you in a second anyway. Now the other ones with the numbers. Here we go. It's right here. See, this one says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 pages, right? It's 7 pages. So when you hit that first one, it's going to know that it's number 1. That's why you're going to get the first page. If I do number 2, jumps to number 2, and then if you go back to number 1, it goes back to number 1. Okay, that's another way of checking things, and you can also check AJAX through there. So if you did this like that, it gives you the count, and this is what gives you. It loops it through. Remember, we talked about this. It loops it through the counter, creates that. It says it's a smaller equal to this, and if it's yes, then just keep adding 1 to it, and it just keeps going like this, and that's why you get 7 lines. Same thing with next. You're gonna do 88, but you have a 0 because it's not gonna use it. Same thing with here. This is total 7. Remember total 7? I tell you 7. In this case, I just use number 1 because it's number 1. In this case, I use the last because it's number 7. That will be the total, which would be, where is it? This will be for the number 1. Where are we? Right here. Total. Right here. Right? So that's what that is. So what happens is you go like this, you hit this. Now, this is going to jump to remember I told you, because you're still in the same page. If you put JavaScript, bunch of stuff like functions and stuff, and you're using it up here, but you have it all the way down here, it's okay. Because what happens is it's gonna read this. It knows that this page has a function named myAJAX page. Then you're gonna provide those 2 parameters, right? I should say parameters, arguments. But once it gets over there, it becomes parameter. That's just a weird thing. Anyway, it goes like this. It goes down like this. Now, this is how AJAX works. You're calling a function. It's called myAJAX page with the 2 parentheses, right? Look, myAJAX page. But every time you hit on click, meaning you hit that word first, please run this and send 1 in and send 0 in. So it goes like this, and this becomes 1, this becomes 0. And then what happens is it reads the AJAX gets everything created, and but before we do that, this request is a what is it called? Where is it? This right here is what's built in. That's what's the built-in object. It's built in into the data, into the browsers, all browsers, right? It requests data from a web server, right? Or it sends data, or requests data, and it's all JavaScript stuff. And then the HTML stuff, which you see here, that's the DOM. It's to displays and use data. You know what I mean? That's all it is. So if you got a block and you call it, what did I call it before? New replace. Yeah, right here. New replace. It will be right here. Where is it? Right here, see? New replace. Always use an ID. No classes, otherwise you'll be changing everything. ID is like for one thing. It's the identical. You shouldn't have another div with an ID. New replace. It should always be one. Right, so it does this stuff, it runs the thing. Oh man, hold on one second, guys. I know it's black coffee, which I'm drinking right now, with a little bit of allulose and a little bit of ketones, C8 they call it. It's not just C3, C8. Good stuff, but it's needed because my throat was getting a little dry from talking so much. I'm trying not to make this video too big. So like I said, it calls the function, right? The HTML PHP calls that function. And then, which is a JavaScript thing, right? That function is the JavaScript. You got your parameter 1 and 2. That's what that is, parameter 1 and 2. It's good stuff. These are variables, right? These are variables, right? I'm not going to be using this. Did I use it? Yes, I did, right here. So what you do is you var, this is how you do for PHP, all you do is $ and whatever word you use, right? That would be a variable. But in JavaScript, you would say there's a let too. The new version says let, but this is var. This means variable. These are two will be variables. That's what they are. Right? So those two variables, you're gonna need them because the other one's gonna hold the actual what is that? The XMLHttpRequest object. It's going to hold that. So, and in this case right here, the if statement, this right here, I'm just trying to check that the browser has it. If it does exist, that's it. Fine. That means that's true. If it doesn't have this, then it must be that you're using some Microsoft browser, which is why I created this. See, when you say new, this is an object and you're creating a new object. This becomes a new object, which later on you're gonna run with. You're gonna run a method with. In other words, you're gonna say, I'll show you right there. See, XML, HTML. That's an object that has a method. And this method is actually owned by XML HttpRequest. So you're creating a new object, and now you're going to be using that object with the method that belongs to this guy. So you don't have to put this name, you put this name. And it uses this object, it uses the status object, it uses this object. You can even assign a function, which I'm doing here. These are, if you learn this is the actual intro and basic stuff. You can even make it complicated, but in every AJAX statements and the way things work, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. Okay? This is how you do it. Let me see if I bring it up. I'll bring it down a little bit. Let's do right here. Functions. Right here. That's good enough. Can you guys read that? You got your function. Right? That stops over here. You got your variable. This you're finding out if this browser has this one. If it doesn't, then use this one. This is for the, if you're using IE, Microsoft IE, this is what it be. Right? And then now you say, oh, yeah, cool, we got this. Now you're using whichever it is, but right now it's this. You're going to say, okay, I want to run this, and I want to say, I'm ready, state change. You have to spell it like this. No on state ready change. No, it's got to say onReady. That is the method. Remember, methods are functions that belong to this object. And what happens is you say, okay, let's create that. It creates a function, and the function now within that function, you're going to check. You're going to check to see if everything is okay, right? You want to see the ready states. The ready states. Wait a minute. Building maintenance, I'm painting everything. Oh my God. Oh boy, it's always something in this place. Then they raise up your rent. Unbelievable. So like I said, if it does, and like I said, we heard that it is, right? Then it assigns the object to variable. That will be your XML, HTML. This works on Safari, what is it? Chrome, Firefox. What's that other one? Opera. Is there another one? I'm pretty sure there's some more. Those are the only ones I know. Those are the only ones that I have because I'm using an Apple. Right? I don't use IE no more. Disappointments. So anyway, it does that thing. It uses the new object. It creates the object, does the thing. This will be for IE, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, if you're using IE, then use that. But please don't use IE. That's going. They're going to commission that. I don't even know why, but I put it anyway because just in case somebody might have an old computer, or you might have an old computer. You want to test things out. You want people to see your stuff, right? That's how you would do it. You have to make sure. So what I am doing is assigning a method for the ready state change, right? This is what this is, the ready state change. Then within the method, I will check if by using the two methods. And right now I'm using the ready state. I'm using the status. Now the one that says state, it should always be equal to 4. If it gives you like 3 or something, that means it hasn't gotten there. See, the thing is when the AJAX does this thing, it'll give you 0, 1, 2, and then 4, meaning that's you're ready. And then the other one, the status, meaning you're going to get it like a success thing. That's your status. It should be 200. If it's something else, that means something went wrong. And you have to check. So this will indicate that it's successful, right? That the whole thing is successful. Once you do that, then you're going to call the same thing again that you created right here, the object, and you're going to use a method called open. And you notice how it has three, what is that? Let me see, if we're calling a method, we're calling it's like also function, so that will be arguments. It's got 3 different types of arguments, right? The one is the ready state, which is a 4, I mentioned that. The 200, I mentioned that. And then once you do that, you get the response, right? If you say everything works out, then it's okay, it worked out, good. Now, what I want to do is I want to use that same object and I want to run this. And this, what this tells you, right now it's not doing anything until this happens. Right now everything is being set up, and this will give you the response. Every time you call this, once you do this open and you do the send, that results will jump into the response time, text I mean. And then you're going to put it into page data. And remember what I told you, you're using the DOM. Inside the DOM, remember I told you can use this thing called inner HTML, and you're going to put that results into here, which shows up right here. This here, right here, this whole thing, I'll show you in a second, is new replace, which let me see. Where are we? We're in the right place. No, we're not. I'm going to have to jump a little bit up. Sorry, apologize. Where is it? Right here, see? Right now you're running this. It's this whole thing. Get it? That information you got from the database, from an array. And what happens is that results, which will be the same thing that you see here, will be copied over. It'll copy over this whole thing. This whole thing will be copied over many times. It will be copied over, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 7, and 8, 9, 10, 11 times. It'll copy over 11 times. But you won't notice. You won't get no query string or nothing. This just happens right there. That's all it does. So when you do that, you can create it. Now remember how you see you got like the three, you got the three in get. You got, what is that? This is the actual, see AJAX is going to read your another function, which is another program, another script, as you can see. It's going to be called AJAX pagination.php. What's it? I don't know. Where is it? See how it has the parameter? The first one happens to be with this guy right here. P2 will be that one. Check priv. This is the two variable, and you're going to have this. These are query strings. And this query string will have that one. Remember the 0, 1, 0, and then you got 0, 88, 0, 99. Remember that one? That goes into these things here. Because you're sending this to this program, which happens to be, what the hell is it? What did I call it? Okay, here it goes. Oops. AJAX, where are you? Right here. See? Look, it's going to call it all over again. See, it's going to call the whole thing all over again. Look, it's going to call it over. And plus, see that little button right here? This button right here? It's just to refresh. See, it just goes back on top. Just to refresh. As you can see, it does that. See, it refreshes. That's it. And there goes your right here, refresh page, which is that. I embedded the CSS right in there. But remember, when you're doing this for production, make sure you put all this into your CSS up here, or make it into a separate file and call it like this. Blink. Always do it like that. This stuff here is okay if you have like few, but what happens when you have a lot of rules? It should be external, like this. Saves on time, saves on memory. Alright, so let's see what we got. So we're here. What was it? I was down here somewhere, I guess. Yes, I was. The name of the file, remember, it calls the file, sends that thing, goes back into the thing, writes it. It puts it right in here, which will come into here. And as you can see, let's see, what's the other one? As you can see, man, why is my... Sorry, guys. Maybe because I'm talking too much. Anyway, this is how that is done. So then now, what is that noise that I keep hearing? It's like some kind of... So so again, the results will be, this was the results. You get it back, goes into the inner. It goes to the data, right? Goes to the, what is that? It displays in the document element into the, what is that? HTML div, which I already showed you. It does a lot of good things. Now this is how it's done. So what happens is the open, see this open right here? It says 1, 2, and 3. That gives you, it sends out like 3 different arguments, right? The first one is the get method. Remember how you do the form and you have method equals post or get? It's the same idea. It's the same idea. So what happens, and in this case, I'm going to give it a get. I'm going to get method because I want to specify that's the type I want. And then the second one is the actual script that you're calling, and I showed you that already. That's what sends the request to the server. And then the third one is true, meaning that it's asynchronous. Meaning that it's an asynchronous object or event, what is that? That's coordinated in time, because the execution is like you're going to do things one at a time. See, you're not, when you do, if you would have had this as false, that means, ooh, this one is going to depend on this one. This one, you can't do this until it depends on this one. This one, it depends on this one. It depends on all. But this runs independently. So it runs in sequence. This one gets it, put that stuff out there. That's all what that means. That's all. No big deal. Always say true. Okay? Always say true. And what else can I explain? And the send, of course, sends the request to the server. This sends the request to the server. So if you do that, it puts this information, calls this guy, this information that you're getting it from para and para2, which is para2, and where you get this para2 by calling it here and sending information. This will be your argument 1, argument 2. This is para2, para2, para, this whole thing, and para2. And of course para2, and the same thing para2. That's how that works. See how is it calling it? And how about we show you how it's done. See what it works. So if I went, you see this right here? Let me see if I can bring this up a bit. I don't know, but do I have any more room? Oh man, I gotta get a bigger computer. I just can't be working with these little things. Sucks. Okay. So right now, remember this right here, look. You got your query string right here, query string. So if I moved it up a little bit like this, and you want to, so let's see, let's do 7. See, it gave me 7, the 7th page right here, look. But it jumped, it made everything go, because it's going out to the server and reprinting it again. That's why you're looking at that jump, right? So if you're like right here, boom, it jumps right up to the top and like this. Now you have to go down a little bit. So, but if you're down here, you can go like this. You see, look, it's changing. That's changing. You go to previous. That's previous. First, right? Remember that? Last, and then you go to the next, which would be nothing because there's nothing there. Set. No, let's go to 6, and you go to next because it's all right. So if you do so, now in this particular case, it's kind of like the same thing. But if you don't have to, I just go like this, man. And I just in this case, it's going to read. Let's go to the top first, okay? So what happens is now it's going to read that. So this is the first page. So if I want to go to the second one and just go like this, and look, you notice how it didn't, you see how this is? It stayed the same. It stayed in the same page. It didn't call itself again. It didn't go out there. It didn't go out there to reprint, to display your HTML file and then display the data. No, what it did was it kept everything the same, kept it in memory, that's it in the browser, and then the AJAX just gave you this. This is the part that gets dynamic. It reads the stuff, so it looks like it's going, which it is, right? This is not a better deal. The other one is okay, I guess, if you don't have, but what happens if you had a whole bunch of stuff? Like I'm going to show you, well, I guess I would have had it before, but I took all that crap out. But anyway, if I'll put it in here. See it right here, right? So you go to 3, you go to 4, 5, 6, 7. You go back to first, you go back to last. See how it's not jumping? Last, you go back to first, you go back to 4. Let's say you want to go to previous, and want to go to next. See, you notice that? So right now what I want to do is I want to show you, just so I can show you, we're almost done, guys. We're almost done. This is it. You can use this stuff, put it inside your template. But let's change a few things, because what did I do? Where is it? This one is the one that it calls itself. Oh, here it goes. What I did was I added this stuff too. I'm giving you this, but this is what I added. This will tells you what's happening, right? So if I took this whole thing out like this way you can see it, all right? But when you're done with it, you put comments and you want to, this is how you test things out. They never said it was going to be easy, man. It can be easy once you know what you're doing. This I don't really care about. Maybe I can put it in anyway. Is it still working? Yeah, no, it's not, because I'm doing it over here. Actually, why did I left it here? That's okay, it's no big deal. Same thing with this one. This is your 99. Remember what I told you? That's your check pref. See, no check pref. 99. I called it the same thing here, and it's 88. So what happens is when you send it 99, which is right here, 99, it's going to go here, and it's going to read, it's going to go down the line. Is it here? It's going to say, oh, 99, I'm going to do all this. See, this will copy. So, well, you got this in there and here too. And you know, you could do this in dry mode too. Like, in other words, don't repeat yourself. But I didn't want to do that because I wanted to show you. Maybe in another video I can show you how you can really maximize more. But it will be a little tricky. This I prefer to do like this. It doesn't take too much space, and anyway, it just goes fast. Anyway, you got fast computers and stuff. Anyway, so what happens is you do this. So when you start sending those numbers, did I save this? No, I did not. So let's clear it out. Let's go here. And what I did was I added those things so that way you can see it better. So if I went to number 2, boom, it shows you. Look, this is the get. This is what number 2 is. Then I say, hey, assign this, which happens to be this, to the session. And that will be equal to 2. Session will equal to 2. Then I want you to assign that page into session minus whole page 2, because you know why? 99 and 88 is going to use it. And then so I want to assign this here. So I kind of put it over here because this is the actual command, but I wanted, and this is the actual command, but I wanted to give you what that meant. So that's why you get this information. So if you went to, what was that, number 2? Yeah, right here, number 2. If you went, see, 3, 3, 3, 2, and it's the 3 stuff. If you went back, boom. The reason why you're not getting anything because, as you can see, where is it? 99. There's really nothing there. There's no echo. Like I didn't put the stuff in there. That's why I kept it like that. But if you keep going like this, boom, it jumps to the next one. If you go to next, it jumps to the next one, next one, next one, next one. Or you just print the thing, and you wouldn't have that problem. You can keep it if you want. Put it back in there. But I'm gonna comment it out anyway. This is first. This is first, and then you got your last. See, 7, blah, blah, blah. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back and comment that one. So we're going to go boom, 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 boom. Let's go back a bit. Boom, boom, boom. And one more, right? Boom, that's it. Let's keep it clean, you know what I'm saying? I just flip that so you can see. And as you can go here, you go to 2, you go to 3, 4, 5, you go back there. Okay? And that's it. When you, oh yeah, by the way, when you go to prev 88, what it does is takes this information. Remember how I put it as a minus? I put it as a session. I'm going to tell you what a session is in a moment, right? And I say, oh look, under this one this is -1. This is why this minus whole page number. If you did, let's say you did 3, that 3 got copied inside that minus. And then what you did was in this line you say, okay, it's 3, and you're hitting priv, so that means you want me to jump to 2. So you're making that -1. Now this becomes 2, then 2 multiplied by 4, right? 2, 8, and then you put that start, and then that start will come into here. And then you say, well, you got this here. Nope, this won't be touched, because remember, if you have a number, let's say like right here, let me see, like this is number 1 and this is number 0 par, remember that, par and par, and this was par and par 2, par 2. So if you went there, it's going to say, hey, is it set? Yes. Is it greater than 0? Yes, it is, right? It has 1. The other's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. It's always going to have a big number, so this will do. This will run this whole thing, which is why you saw that craziness. But if you hit priv or next, it's not going to run this part right here. It's not going to run this part right here. It's going to run this part. This is why I put minus. Remember right here? Where are we? I assigned it right here. Look, I assigned the page into this. Where's the first one? Oh, okay, this is it. Page into this will be go into here. That's why you have that -1. It'll go there. It's like I'm holding it, that number in the memory, and then when you come here, it's going to say, oh, look, where is it? Well, there goes the one in the memory. We're going to put it into the home page num, and then we're going to subtract out 1. Oh, man, what was it? This was because I was doing something else or something else. You don't really have to do this part right here, because you know why? When you go here, it's only going to do this, which happens to be this. See? Yes, I know you got 2 of them here. It doesn't matter. Just copy 0. You just take 1 out if you want to. This is because I put it there. You can go like this if you want. 1, 2, 3. So you don't have to use it because you're done it here already. And that's because I was testing it out. And I will take it out. When the time comes, I'll take it out. Just leave this here. Because pages will appear. See? That's the -+1 for 88. That's why when you say next, it goes this, 88 plus 1. But when you say my previous 99, whatever that number is, take 1 away, and that gives you that one. So if you're on page 4, you say prev, it gives you page 3. If you're in page 2 or any number, and you want to go to next, you have to go to 3. Next, go to 4. Next, go to 5, and vice versa. That is what. Now you know you're thinking about what the hell is this session. See, session is a good thing to have because session is like cookie, but it runs on the server side. Cookie runs on the browser side. Yes, people were, oh, can't put too much information in cookie because somebody can get to it. Believe it or not, nobody can get to it. But I don't like it on the server side. It's just on the browser side. I like stuff to be on the server because the browser side is just for browser side stuff. Like you want to put a cookie, A equals to 2 o'clock, and then along the way here, you're calling that cookie time, and it'll give you, what was it that I said? 5 o'clock, right? Or 2 o'clock, what was that I just said? But sessions is the same idea, but here it goes. I put it here so you can see it. A session is a way to store information in a variable to be used across multiple pages. So if you do that session, you need to start it out like this. Without this, all this stuff that you did before, look, it's not here. Session, if you took that out, all this stuff here that you did before, where is it? This one, this one, this one will not work. Then your whole thing falls apart. So you gotta make sure you put session start, which is a function, right? It gotta be on the very top. It's gotta be the very first thing. I put it here, and I also put it here. You didn't have to put it here, to tell you the truth, because over here I'm not using session. Like for instance, maybe I am. Let me see. Nope, I'm not. You see what I mean? I'm not, because I'm doing everything on the on this side. I'm doing everything using not this one, this one. Using everything here. That's why I said. But I put it there because I was going to test how putting my session like right here. But I felt, hey, why not just do it simple? Do it like this. Why complicate things? Go like this, put this inside. Same thing over here. Remember, if you hit prev or next, prev, it'll go this. It won't do any of this. Because prev only has 0 on it. It won't work. None of this will work, so you don't have to worry about it. It reached 99. It's oh, it wants to prev, meaning previous. Take whatever you have in the section and subtract that 1. So if you put 3, it'll give you 2. And in this one, again, 88. If you have 4 and you say plus 1, then you're going to get 5. And that's it. That's all it is. That's all it is. Sorry that it took a little time. Let's get this over. You know, when you get a chance, I mean, I put those different spaces so that way it makes you clear, so that way you don't get like, ah man, so much things confused. Come on. Like usually you don't need all these spaces, but it's a good idea to put them. You know, you got computers that are like, yes, it costs money. When you run the old notation, the good old notation, right, the big old notation, that's to tell you what would be the statistics and how you could use the for next loops and stuff like that. There's certain ways of doing it. That's a good idea to do anyway to practice that. Maybe I'll do a video on that. And I forgot the time, but I'm gonna do it because life has gotten like complicated, and it kind of gave me threw me too hard for a loop and stuff. So that's. But I'm gonna keep continuing stuff like that. But I hope you learned something here. It's fantastic. AJAX is fantastic, and I want you to really use it. Use it this way, use it the other way. But I'm going to give it to you both ways in the video, so in the description. Remember, I'm going to copy as a .php, and also I'm going to copy as a .txt. Okay, my friends, please, if you enjoy it, please give me a thumbs up, and if you want to subscribe to me so you can keep track of my stuff. Yeah, I'm not perfect, and not like a real teacher. Just trying to show you. It's like you sitting right next to me and show you on the screen, and you're gonna get to it, and I'm gonna say, okay, this is what you type, and you're looking at it, then you're doing it on your computer, practicing. Well, that's what it is. That's how I like to teach it. Do it like that. People seem to understand and they like it. Anyway, again, next time, a good night. Bye bye.